Well, Symrise basically creates flavor and fragrances. We are one of the world's largest flavor creations and fragrance creators. We make scent and taste for every kind of product that you can possibly think of. And this is where Symrise is this is basically what Symrise is doing as part of the company. Basically, we were delighted to have the students to join us. I mean, it adds a lot of vibrancy to the team. From the Polytechnic, having no working experience altogether and coming into the real world of, what we call scent and flavors. It's a whole new experience, and initially, and furthermore, being part of the consumer insight program, the consumer insight team here. We're very happy to have them, to let them experience the real life happening. So the day-to-day of what's really happening in the consumer insights that we do within Symrise itself. So basically, it's a very enjoyable experience because we like to hear it from a different perspective. Maybe in the team itself, we are all like in our 30s and 40s and almost 50s into time for retirement, and suddenly an injection of new blood, and coming up with new ideas, especially they're fresh out from school and they're still in the course of learning, and they have a lot of new ideas to share with us. So that was something very, very interesting for us. I've always been looking for out-of-the-box thinker, especially in our area of consumer insights. We have to always be on the move. FMCG products is always ever-changing, just like the scent, just like the taste in food. Everything changes every now and then. And so we always like to infuse new blood to be, trying to catch up with the times. And given that experience, because I have not seen really a course that is specifically designed for students in consumer insight, and this course itself that you guys have designed for the Polytechnic is something very, very different. It's a differentiator for me, and also I find that the students are very practical and they could contribute in the sense that what I would love them to do is to see that they get involved in projects that we do, into the day-to-day projects, and that's the reason why I've always been supporter of because it's a continuous program. It's not like interns who come in and leave after 1 or 2 years, and then they completely forget, the connection of what they have done, especially. And in the case of the MEPs, they come in and they follow up the next subsequent year and the year after that. So when we have projects, we can involve them, and they're already in the knowledge of, they're already in the knowledge of knowing what they want and what they want to do, and what is expected of them from us, so that it's a continuation process. So we can train them from the beginning, and then we can involve them in projects. Like most of the projects that we deal in here is always like goes through a period of a long period of time, and having the experience and having the the knowledge what we are doing at the end of the day, and continuing from where they have started, is always an advantage for us. First of all, what we look for consumer insight people are not the technical people. I mean, it's more like out-of-the-box thinkers to come up with new ideas, to explore the market. And what the MEP students have done was they come in and they were able to express their opinion about especially some of the projects that we assign them to, because this is like a lifelong, it's a continuous project that we are doing across time. And in this point, I could see like the two students themselves, Lilling and Caleb, they have, gave us some ideas, come up with ideas like, okay, can we do this different? Can we try something different? They're not conform what they have learned, and based on their experience from school itself, they come in with like, this is what we have done in school and how we have done it here. Could we apply this? So it's like a two-way process for both ourselves and themselves. We're learning to understand what the youth of today are looking for. At the same time, they are also learning from us what has been done in the past. And this is where we meet halfway. We decide whether, what's the best approach to go, because there's no hard and fast rule that this is a process A, B, C, D, E, which is why I always advocate MEP, because, if it's not a process job, it's always a project. A project comes in with a fixed objective. The objective of the project is to understand the consumer in whichever country, in whichever way, and then try to bring in new ideas, new approaches. Can I combine approaches? Can I try to find fresh new ways of approaching the consumer? And this is where the interns, the MEP students come in very, very effectively, because they were able to bring in fresh new ideas of how things can be done. Sometimes not 100%, I would say not 100% effective, because some of the experiences that they may not have, like dealing in overseas projects, which will come in future for them, it's important to expose them to markets other than Singapore itself. This is something that would help them to understand why there are certain nuances in this country, in that country, that cannot be applied. But the idea of being able to voice their opinion and to challenge the status quo is what is most important. And this is what we are looking for, especially in consumer insight, because it's an ever-changing world. The consumers are in evolution all the time. And even so, you can even say it's a revolution, it's a consumer's revolution. And the youth market today is one of the most important segments that we have in Thailand. So in this sense, these MEP students provide a connection apart from them being at that segment itself. They are also able to share with us ideas and thoughts about how these people approach and look at things from that particular age. I must say, because we are midway through the MEP program itself, and of course, like I mentioned, most importantly, following to the end is the most important part, because when they see the project reaching a final conclusion, and which is why I'm thinking if the MEP projects could also be induced into part of the curriculum into a project where they can, really put on a real life project experience and use it as like, we do it in our dissertations, and a lot of theoretical part of it involved. Yeah, but still there's a lot of practicality involved in it. So it could be a part of the inbuilt into part of their curriculum, as part of the of the curriculum that they can be assessed on and how they dealt with the projects. And that is what I would like to see happening for the MEP project, because then again, these students will be be applying what they have learned from all these years into a real life situation rather than a hypothesis situation. Selfishly to say, I would not. I'll keep it to myself. No, but to be frank, I think a lot of companies could do MEPs, especially when you're on the client side, where the students really, get to work on projects that goes on through a period of time. And the less sensitive a project is, these students can be involved in, and they get experiences, especially Singapore within Asia is a very small market compared to the whole of Asia. And like I've always mention that most of our activities involves going to countries like China, India, Southeast Asia, Japan, Taiwan. So, and all these different cultures, it's a melting pot of different cultures, and how these students expose themselves to all the different cultures will help them prepare. In the long run, when they go out to a company, they will not have that kind of expectation that this is a standard thing that I'm expected to do. And this is my personal experience, because when I first joined the company, my first job, I went in and I said, look, am I supposed to expect this? Is this supposed the standard of the industry? Because I have no working experience in other companies as well. However, if I've been exposed to more markets, to more people, to more cultures, to more projects, ultimately give them more insights. And this kind of experience itself is invaluable, because it's based on the experience that you get along the way as part of the projects. So basically, I would say MEP projects I've always been a strong advocate of MEP